one more time, we're going to hear from two of our guides, from Skylar, who is a marine biologist at Roger Williams University in Rhode Island, and Ian Cara, who is faculty in gender and sexuality and Africana at Bates College. And so Skylar and Ian Cara, once they're both here, will do the same thing. So your two questions, Skylar, yours had to sort of pile them all because you spread it out over 3 videos, which is awesome. What if we knew more and shared what we know about aquaculture and didn't tie it all so closely to money? And Ian Cara, your question, what if there were no gender? So those were the questions we got to hear from you about over the course of your videos. I'd love to hear a little bit what you're thinking today. What's a what if for us to take into this third and final small group imagination session? Skylar, do you want to start off?
Sure. So
what you thinking?
So we had a very interesting week where this is relevant because I oversee an aquaculture facility at our school. I do a lot of different things, but that's one of the things I'm responsible for. And yesterday, our new microalgae manager, microalgae is like the tiny plant food, right, for all the oysters and shellfish we like to eat. She broke her ankle at work, and we also have another staff member who's out. And so there's a couple of, another faculty and I and a bunch of other staff all in these facilities had to come together yesterday and not only like take care of our poor employee to get her to the hospital, but come up with a plan for who's going to cover what shift. How many people do we have to hire? How are we going to plan it out with the dean? How are we going to deal with safety stuff? Because there's going to be a report filed. And so I've been really thinking a lot about teamwork and everyone sort of pitching in. And the nice thing about yesterday was that money was really no question because we happen to have extra accounts and emergency funds. And so it wasn't about if we can afford it. It was about how are we going to make it happen? And so I've been really thinking a lot about like what kind of science, it can be aquaculture, but I think in general, just like what kind of science can we accomplish if money was no object? What could we do if we really work together as a team and we weren't bound by financial constraints? Because yesterday was very stressful, but it was very beautiful watching us all plan for the future instead of plan to shut everything down. So that's what I'm thinking today about.
Awesome. What kind of science? What if we could accomplish, what if we could do science? What could we accomplish if we could work together as a team and money was no object? Lovely. Ian Cara, what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank Nancy and Renee Goddess for your questions, because the way that the group that I was in took those questions and like folks merged them, which I thought was really, really cool. And it's making me think about my question. And I was already thinking about this in relationship to difference, right? And so my question, of course, is what if there were no gender? But I wanna kind of complicate it a little bit for us, because it's not just what if there were no gender. I don't want to do away with human difference, right? I think human diversity is beautiful. It's what makes us who we are. What I want us to really be thinking about is how we think about those differences. I think we can say it may be an aspect of human nature to categorize everything: people, animals, books, DVDs, as I'm looking right in front of me. But it's the way we assign meaning to those differences, especially when we're talking about people, that becomes the problem. So we assign meaning and we assign ranks and we put people in these hierarchies and we limit access to power and privilege and life chances. And gender is just one of those places, one of those categories that we use to rank people. And so I just wonder, yeah, with all of that in mind, not doing away with, I'm not trying to say I want all people to be the same. I absolutely don't. But what if we thought about gender differently? What if there were no gender, as I said in my video, what if there were no gender in the way that we now know it?
Mm, 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 mm. Lovely. So a second question, what if there were no gender in the way that we know it, in the way that we currently know it? So those two what if questions are ours to carry forward into our third and final 7-minute imagination moment. And we'll see you in 7 minutes.